and we is from the group D2. And I present to you my group members, Nafasha Yasmin binti Muhammad Faizal, Shahira binti Shahar Nizam, Jufris Davis, and Muhammad Rafi from Muhammad Izal. Next, our content have 6, which is title, population and sample, objectives and statistical method, instrument, finding and analysis by manual and software, and the last is the conclusion.
So for our population sample, we created a Google form to identify the range prices of smartphone among University Pendidikan Sultan Idris students. And as a result, we got a total of 45 students that uses different brand and different range of prices.
Our objective of study is, the first one is to compare mean, variance, and standard deviation price of each brand of smartphones. Second, to compare mean price of smartphone between 5 types of brands. Third, to compare mean price between iPhone and Android. Fourth, to compare the variance between iPhone and Android. Next, the significance of the study. The first one is to help students choose wisely smartphone that have an affordable prices between iPhone and Android. Second, to identify the most popular smartphone brands among upstate students.
So for our instrument, we use the 45 respondents that responded our Google form. The Google form contains questions about their brand of smartphone and the prices of their smartphones. The method that we use to analyze is the description of data population, that is mean, variance, and standard deviation. After that, we also use ANOVA, one-way ANOVA, that is analysis of variance, one-way analysis of variance. After that, the hypothesis test about the mean with 2 population, and lastly, hypothesis of variance with 2 population. For the first part of our analysis, we search for the mean, variance, and standard deviation. This is the result of our calculation. So this is the result of our Google form. For our first one, we search for the mean of each brand using the formula EX over N, where the EX is the sum of price for each brand, and over N, the number of respondents that uses that particular brand. So for iPhone, we got 2,472 ringgit and 50 cents. For others, we got 932 ringgit and 80 cents. And for Realme, we got 927 and 60 cents. For our next brand, Vivo. For Vivo, we got the mean 1,264 ringgit. And lastly, Xiaomi, with 833 ringgit and 33 cents. Although the number of respondents that uses iPhone is the highest, the value of the mean is also the highest, with 2,473 ringgit and 50 cents. This shows that the base value of the iPhone, or the base price of the iPhone, is higher than any other brand. Next, Xiaomi, with the lowest respondent and the lowest value of mean, which is 833 ringgit and 33 cents. This may be caused by the number of respondents that uses that particular smartphone is the lowest, or maybe the smartphone from Xiaomi is the most budget friendly, in other words, the cheapest. After calculating the mean, we need to search for the variance of each brand. Using the formula E in bracket x minus x bar, closing bracket by the power of 2, divided by n minus 1. So for iPhone, the variance we got is 1137075. For others, we got 1423500.4. For Realme, we got 236874.044. For Vivo, we got 709355. And lastly, Xiaomi, 158666.67. From the calculation, we know that the highest variance between the brand is iPhone, while the lowest variance is others. This shows that the data of iPhone is more dispersed from the mean than the other brands. For standard deviation, we just square root of variance. For iPhone, we got 1066.337. For others, we got 377.294. For Realme, we got 486.697. For Vivo, we got 842.232. And lastly, for Xiaomi, we got 398.392. And from the result of the calculation, the lowest and the highest standard deviation is the same as the variance. This shows that the range of iPhone is most dispersed, while other is the least dispersed. For our software use, this is the iPhone, others, and Realme. So from the manual calculation and software, you can see that there isn't much different from using software and calculating manually. The mean, standard deviation, and variance is the same, but the Excel uses more decimal point. The last two calculations for standard deviation, mean, and variance using Excel is Vivo and Xiaomi. The value of mean, variance, and standard deviation is consistent, so this shows that there isn't any error in manual calculation or the software calculation.
Next, comparing the mean price of smartphone between 5 types of brands. For manual calculation, we will use hypothesis test of ANOVA. First step is state the hypothesis. H9 is new iPhone equal to new Realme, equal to new Vivo, equal to new Xiaomi, equal to new order. H1 is at least 2 means are different. Step 2, we select the distribution to use. Because we are comparing the means for first normally distributed populations, we will use F distribution to make this test. Step 3 is region. The significant level we use is 0.05 because one-way ANOVA test is always right here. The area in the right tail of the F distribution curve is 0.05, which is the rejection region. Next, degree of freedom for numerator is equal to k minus 1, so we get 4. Degree of freedom for denominator is n minus k, so we get 40. The critical value is 2.61. Step 4 is test statistic. The first one we need to find is submission of x. Submission of x is the iPhone plus the Realme plus the Vivo plus the Xiaomi plus the others, and we get 62,122. Next, we need to find the n. N is equal to 45, and we need to find the submission of x squared. We will add up all the values for smartphone prices, and we square it, we will get 1269,854.90. Next, we need to find the subsquare of between and subsquare of within, which is SSB and SSW. For SSB and SSW, we need to use the formula given, and SSB will get 20256458.91, and SSW we get 209703008.33. And SSD is addition of SSB plus SSW. We will get 41226767.24. Next, MSB is mean square of between, and MSW is mean square of within. For MSB, we will use the formula is SSB over K minus 1. We will get 5064114728. And MSW, we use formula SSW over K minus 1. We get 524257.708. And the last one, we need to find the test statistic F. F is equal to MSB over MSW. We will get 9.66. Last step is make the decision. Since the test statistic, we get F is equal to 9.66 is greater than critical value of F 2.61, and it will fall in the rejection region. So we will reject the null hypothesis. Therefore, we can conclude that the means of the 5 populations are not equal. Another way, we can use Microsoft Excel. As you can see there, p-value is less than alpha, so we will reject the null hypothesis.
Next, we're comparing the mean price between iPhone and Android. We want to test whether the mean price of iPhone is greater than the mean price of Android with 2.5% significant level. First, we calculate the required information such as mean, variance, and standard deviation. After that, we use 5 steps to do the hypothesis test of mean. First, we state null and alternative hypothesis. Second, we choose t-distribution because the sample size of iPhone and sample size of Android is less than 30. After that, we find the critical value with alpha 0.025 and degree of freedom 22. This is the graph to show that the critical value of t alpha 0.025 with degree of freedom 22. Step 4, we calculate the test value, use this formula, and we got 4.761. And the last step is, we make a decision, and state we reject H null, and state that there is enough evidence from the sample to conclude that the mean of iPhone is greater than the mean of Android. This table shows the software of Microsoft Excel of our analysis test.
Next, comparing the variance between iPhone and Android. And then there is the manual. In this hypothesis of variance, we have 5 steps. And firstly is you have to state the hypothesis and identify the claim. And as you can see that the H null is the variance of iPhone is same with variance of Android. Why the H alternative that we can say that it claims that variance of iPhone is different from variance of Android. The second step is select the distribution to use. In this step, we use the F distribution to make this test because we use the F distribution to compare the variance of sample. Then the third step is find critical value. We use the 0.025 table since alpha is 0.05, and this is a two-tailed test because the H alternative that we can see previously, that is the different. So it compute that this have two-tailed test. And we can find the degree of freedom numerator and degree of freedom denominator by using the formula n-1. As we can see that the number of sample Android and iPhone is the same, which is 12. So we can conclude that the degree of freedom both is same, which is 11. As we can see that it has two-tailed test, so it have two critical value, which is 0.288 is from the 1 minus alpha over 2 in the table, and y is 3.474 is alpha over 2 in the table. And we have to sketch the F distribution graph, and we can see that the white region is do not reject H null, while the others is the reject H null. The fourth step is compute the test value. We can use by F formula, which is variance of iPhone over variance of Android, and we can get 6.063. And the last step is make a decision. We reject the null hypothesis since the test value of F 6.063 is greater than the critical value of F, which is 3.474, and it falls into a rejection region. And there is enough evidence to support the claim that the variance of iPhone and Android is different. And then we can use software, which is I use Microsoft Excel to make a decision, which is you have to reject the null hypothesis or not reject the null hypothesis. We can compare it by p-value and alpha. And this data, we can see that the alpha is 0.05, while the p-value is 0.002912669. And we can say that the p-value is less than the alpha, so we reject the null hypothesis.
To conclude our study, we state that the mean, variance, and standard deviation of smartphone price were calculated. Each brand has a distinct mean and standard deviation for their price. Overall, iPhone having the highest mean and standard deviation. For the ANOVA, the test conclude that the mean price of 5 types of smartphone brands are not equal. For hypothesis mean, the test found that the mean price of iPhone is higher than the mean price of Android. The last objective, the hypothesis of variance, the test concluded that the variance price of iPhone and Android are different. That's all about our assignment. Thank you.